Yo, what's going on, everybody? This your boy Taz with another Diablo Immortal video. So I know this been a minute, but it's time to get to business. Hunt Coil. This will be my official review of Hunt Coil, in my opinion. If you like videos like this, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content like this. So anywho, Hunt Coil. Let's do this. We're gonna break it down. When you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to hunt the enemy for 6 seconds. Hunting an enemy while in offensive stance will cause them to take 20% increased damage from you, and hunting them while in defensive stance causes them to deal 20% reduced damage to you. So that part alone, you have a 10% chance when you attack, whatever attack you're doing, primary attack, skill, damage attack, whatever kind of attack you're doing, every time you hit the enemy, there's a 10% chance you will hunt the enemy. Not too bad. 10% kind of scares a lot of people. I understand, like, people, like, once you start attacking, they just want it to proc or trigger, but it is what it is. So it's okay, the 10% chance. If you attack fast, it just more of a chance it's gonna proc anyway. So you're gonna do 20% increased damage. By the way, this is at rank 1. So 20% increased damage is already pretty damn good at rank 1. And then as we had scrolled down some more, it says while in defensive stance causes them to deal 20% reduced damage to you. So what they talking about is,
thank you for your visit.
I switched to offensive stance as a demon hunter. You see the 3 arrows right here. I could do 20% increased damage to my enemy. Okay? This arrow right here. Orange means offensive in most, I guess there's all the classes, hopefully. So then, right now, you can shoot at your enemy or attack your enemy, and every time you hit him with a attack, there's a 10% chance. Now, one thing about this game everybody noticed by now is the gem is going to proc regardless. You may not like the 10% chance, but either way it go, it's going to proc. Okay? So I'm dealing 20% increase, damage right now. When I switch the stance to defensive as the demon hunter, that's the agility stance. Now I can take 20% reduced damage. So now it's like the offensive, you're a juggernaut. Whatever damage you're doing now plus 20%. When I switch this stance to defensive stance, now I'm a tank. But you have to hunt the enemy first. Nothing goes down unless you hunt the enemy. So that's the only thing. And to hunt the enemy, when you attack, there's a 10% chance. Okay, now that we got that out the way, let's continue. Let's go back. We'll scroll down. Now we got the bases out the way. Okay, scrolling down some more. Can now hunt the same enemy more often than once every 20 seconds. So you know what that means? If you target different enemies, you're attacking different enemies. Let's say, for example, you're in a terror rift. If you're attacking different enemies, there's a 10% chance you can hunt each one of them enemies. That's a pro about this gem. First pro is more damage. The second pro is more you take reduced damage when you switch the stance. And now the third pro is that you can attack individual enemies all together, and they all have a 10% chance for you to hunt them. That is not catered into the cooldown. The cooldown, let me continue before I rush too far ahead. It says can now hunt the same enemy more often than once every 20 seconds. So once you hunt the enemy, once you proc it on that one enemy, then the 20-second cooldown goes into effect per enemy. So once I hunt this guy, I'm doing 20% more damage. This other enemy, I'm doing 20% more damage. Then there's a elite on the other side. I'm doing 20% more damage in the offensive stance. Now that you can proc different enemies all at the same time. So this is at rank 1. So just by that alone, that is a pro in my book for the hunt coil. Let's continue. Increase the chance, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to hear about that. This what we need to talk about right here. Hunted enemies will unleash blast every 2 seconds, dealing 10% base damage to surrounding enemies. So once you hunt the enemy, every 2 seconds you're gonna get like an AoE effect. So the enemies that surrounded that enemy would deal 10% base damage to all the enemies he's surrounded by. So usually, you know, these gems, it lasts for about 6 seconds. So there's about 3 blasts. There's about 3 blasts with 10%. Now this is after you already hunt him and you hit him with 20% increased damage in the offensive stance. Now his buddies is gonna get hit with 10% base damage. And it said enemies hit by multiple blasts within 2 seconds take 50% reduced damage from each subsequent hit. That's their way of toning the legendary gem down. Because exactly what I just said, you can proc this gem per enemy. Once you already hunted them, that's when the 20-second cooldown goes into effect. So it sounds really, really good right now, right? But after you hit this, you know, the AoE effect, when you hit the multiple blasts within 2 seconds, the enemies take reduced damage. I kind of don't like that because it's like, you know, they giving them a chance to get away or live. Very small thing I don't like. But you get the blast every 2 seconds. And that you get that effect at rank 3. So as you rank this gem up, the game did a good job. You starting off, you either gonna take 20% reduced damage, or you're going to deal 20% more damage to your enemy or the other player. So what I don't like about this gem, Well, let me tell you why. Let me show you why. What I don't like about this gem. You see my stance right here, right? I'm in defensive stance. Most of the time as a demon hunter, in my opinion, I prefer the defensive agility stance. I like moving fast. I like getting around the maps with, you know, dungeons, raids, whatever. Because sometimes, like, especially in raids, the part where you're supposed to move out the way, the red dots be by your, the red marker be on your feet. You got to get out them zones, man. So I love moving fast. When I switch stances, the problem is right here. There's a 30-second fucking cooldown every time you want to switch stance. If that was not a problem, and this is for PvE and PvP, I would have instantly gave this gem a S tier. But because of this, you can only change stances every 30 seconds. I gotta knock some points down for that. The gem is great, but you have to look at the restrictions. And I get it, they didn't want it to be overpowered, but that is a big minus in my book. Cause the good thing is, one of the next pros I'm finna bring up is this gem is great for PvE and PvP. Great. You can use it. If you're a person that don't do battlegrounds, you can still use this gem. If you're a person who just do PvE, do raid bosses, stuff with your clan, things with your war band, it's also still a good gem. But the thing is, because it's a 5-star gem, you can easily pick up a 1-star or a 2-star gem to do more damage. But the thing is, you have to also take into consideration is, let me go back and show you. One thing you have to take into consideration is the fact they give you 20% at rank 1. So my ideal thing would be to get this gem to rank 4, to better everything, rank 5. And I can see this gem being used way more than Fervent Fang. Fervent Fang, let me go to it right quick. We're gonna do a small comparison. Fervent Fang gives you increased damage of 24% at 10 stacks. So max 24%. Hunt Coil giving you 20% at rank 1. This Fervent Fang is rank 10. So you just know as you upgrade Hunt Coil, you're gonna do more damage, and you can switch to defensive stance and take more damage. The thing is, I'm gonna bring up another con about this gem. Upgrading a 5-star gem in general is gonna slightly be a con because it requires more gem power. And not only gem power, copies. And the only way how you're gonna get this gem, you're either gonna buy it from the market, or you have to get lucky for a drop at the Elder Rift. So my free-to-play players is going to be like, I don't have time to be saving up telluric pearls and running all these credits to get this gem, because the event that's going on now at the Elder Rift, you have a better chance of, when a 5-star gem drop, there's a 50% chance it will be a Hunt Coil. When that's over with, it's gonna be slightly harder to get this gem. Unless, like I said, you gonna have to go to the market. You're going to run a whole lot of elder reels, or you're gonna have to save up some telluric pearls to get this bad boy. So overall about this gem, there are more pros than cons, but this gem shows restriction. A lot of gems, it just proc, it do what it's gonna do, it goes to its cooldown. It don't matter what stance you are in. This is the, one of the first gems of its kind. It gives, you can go offense and defense. The good thing is you can switch during battle. That's a good thing. So that's another a pro about this gem. During whatever battle, it don't matter what game mode you're in. Well, it does matter what game mode you're in, because some game modes you cannot switch stances. There might be a con right there, because if you play Brawl, you can't switch stances. The hunt, you hunt the other enemies and stuff. The event going on right now. Where is it? The Howlers hunt. I don't think you can switch stances. So I gotta knock some points off for that one, bro. I gotta knock some points off for that. Cause you cannot switch stances in every game mode. In all the the PvE stuff, yes. Challenge dungeons, raids, etc. Yes, you can switch stances. In Battleground, you can switch stances. Even Rite of Exile, you can switch stances. But like the other game modes, the smaller PvP game modes, you cannot switch stances. Okay? So the gem also give you another AoE damage. You can also do damage around surrounding enemies. The one that you hunt is gonna get the most damage, right? Then the AoE damage, every 2 seconds, it get a blast and hit the surrounding enemies as well. But that's at rank 3. If you hit the blast on the same enemies, they take 50% reduced damage for each subsequent hit. That's only at rank 3. So what I usually do with 5-star legendary gems is I usually go for rank 5. I don't start on rank 4 minimum, but at least rank 5, because you halfway there. You probably gonna get more damage, and you can give out more damage. You can take lesser damage, and the blast, it might go up a little bit. But in my opinion, with the restrictions and all, I would give this gem an A tier. And that's just looking at everybody as a whole, all types of players. Most players only use one stance. They rarely change stances, to be honest with you. Now, if you're more of a strategic player and you look at this gem, if you know you're going to be dealing with some whales, you might switch to defensive stance. You might leave at defensive stance, especially if you already have a build that does pretty good damage. As a demon hunter, as a wizard, I see a lot of demon hunters and wizards would use this gem maybe for the defensive stance. And if that's the case, you might as well just get a 2-star defensive gem and just upgrade that, because then in certain game modes you're gonna just take lesser damage. But the fact that you have a choice to run your build offensive or defensive is a plus. The thing is, all game modes don't let you switch stances. So in my opinion, my final review is Hunt Coil. Should you get it? Yes. because of its diversity, because you're doing more damage, and you can become a tank and take lesser damage, and you get a little bit of an AoE effect as well. So you can hunt every enemy and it won't go get your cooldown. If you hunt different enemies, you can hunt 5 and 6, 7 or 8 different enemies, and you can blast them with the AoE effect at rank 3. But when they get blasted with the AoE effect, they're gonna take 50% reduced damage. So, do I recommend this gem? Yes. Is it an A tier gem? Yes. So, man, that's all I gotta say about this one, man. I hope that I was able to shine a little bit of light about this gem for you guys. And please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content like this. This your boy Taz, and I'm out.